Afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is, wherever you are, welcome. I'm so glad you're here and happy Friday. If you're watching this on a Friday, what a week. Oh my goodness gracious. Wow. Let's see. While people hop in, I am answering some DMs that I'm getting. Hopefully people will figure it out. Hold on one second. I have a friend here who's saying, is there a Zoom link? No, I'm just here. I'll say, I'm here right now. I'm going to say texting you while live. This is some must-see TV here, people, right? Anyway, I hope everybody's good. I hope you had a good week. There was more big AI news with OpenAI announcing yet another dope feature, the ability to do text to video utterly seamlessly, beautifully, stunningly, with multiple cuts in each shot. It's incredible. And the unwashed masses don't have access to it yet, but it's just a matter of time. It's just a matter of time before we all can make beautiful videos just from the words that come out of our brain through our fingertips onto our keyboard. So let me see. I wanted to check one thing, just doing a little bit of, tech check real quick, making sure that this is popping up on my profile because I've had a couple people ask me, yes, I'm here. Good. Okay. Everybody, we have had so much fun in trainings this week. And in fact, I uncovered another way to kind of approach prompting that I think is going to be really helpful to our topic today. And our topic today, let me grab my deck for you. Our topic today is using ChatGPT as your sounding board. And, one of the things that's kind of become a little bit, misleading a little bit in how we all talk about generative AI is that a lot of times we're talking about having some kind of output, right? Whatever that content might be. It could be that we're talking about something written. That's awesome. Hey, everybody, welcome. As you come on in, let us know, where are you zooming in from? Where are you sitting physically right now? Tell us your name. Tell us a little bit about your AI journey. I love to know where people actually are in their journey. It's so helpful for me to know. Hey, Greg. Hi, Christina. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here. Yay. Hi, Donnie. Donnie's my husband, for those of you who don't know, and my business partner. And it is true, I just saw him, but nonetheless, happy to see everyone in the comments. Christina, I've been thinking about you this week and how, so for those of you who haven't met Christina or seen her LinkedIn profile yet, one of the things that she is a chaos calmer. And when we think about like where we are in the wild west of the AI revolution, oh my goodness, don't we all need chaos calmers in our lives? Hey, Aria, he's here. I was just texting while live with you and delighted to do it. So Christina, chaos calmer. There's so much chaos and there's so much that needs to be calmed. I'm so happy now that I know you. Hey, Jeff. Papa J, multitasking from Western Arkansas, multitasking. Hi, Gwen. Multitasking is perfectly fine, especially because I'm going to give you all access to tons of resources, including this recording at your fingertips when we're done. Oh my goodness. Hi, TK. I'm so glad you're here. Welcome, everybody. Happy Friday. So today we're talking about one of the things that I feel like we don't talk about enough, which is the gift of ChatGPT as our super smart sounding board. Like for me, one of the benefits of being able to just talk to ChatGPT is that I really struggle to share ideas that are kind of half-baked. Like, I especially having been an employee for the first 25 years of my, like, main career, um, sometimes I really wanted to be able to sound just a little bit smarter, a little bit more, like an idea had been better vetted. And there were times when I felt like I didn't even have anybody to talk to. I used to say that, like, I knew I was in a good collaboration with somebody when we could share our bad ideas. And now that's what I'm able to do with ChatGPT. And there are a whole bunch of other ways that I'm going to share with you today that we can use ChatGPT as our sounding board. We think about like our super smart intern, our egoless PhD um, friend. Um, some people have built like their own personal board of advisors. You identify like 5 or 6 different personas and you create characters for them. And then you ask those people different questions along the way. So let me dive in and share my first little request with all of you, which is to please drop into the chat. This is my pledge. This is your pledge to me and to one another and to the universe that we won't put confidential information into ChatGPT. And this is super important to me for a whole bunch of reasons. But, as I've been, out here teaching lots and lots of people how to use ChatGPT, one of the things that keeps me up at night is, will anyone accidentally put confidential information to ChatGPT, in part because their company or their organization or no one around them is giving them any kind of guidelines. Like, so many of our organizations don't yet have a point of view on generative AI and what our framework is and how we're going to use it and how we're not going to use it. So then it's like, it's all on us, right? So it's on us to make sure that we're not putting stuff out into the ether that we wouldn't be comfortable seeing on the front page of the newspaper. And yes, there are ways to minimize maybe your risk of the data that you're putting into ChatGPT going out into the ether. But for me, and for all of you and all of my friends and friends of friends, I want everybody to sleep well at night. So we just say, I will not put confidential information in ChatGPT. And when you're working with clients and you're working with donors, like most of the folks around me are, one of the ways that I avoid using putting confidential information in is just pseudonyms. So whenever I'm about to drop a proper noun in, I'll change it. It's Minnie Mouse, it's Mickey Mouse, it's Disneyland. And like if you're doing a spreadsheet, you have to be sure that you've checked all of your columns, make sure that there's not one that's like harboring a little bit of, personally identifiable information. Be very careful anytime you're uploading a spreadsheet. That's like when you're on high alert. It's very easy to do. So Naomi, excellent. You won't put confidential information into ChatGPT. I love that for you. I love that for all of us. One of the things, let me go to there's this one thing I want to say to everybody because it keeps coming up. Yes. Do I need ChatGPT Plus? 100%. So before we even go one step further, you need to get ChatGPT Plus. I'm actually going to be talking about GPTs today, which is one of the features that you get with your $20 a month subscription. It is, I'm going to teach you how to get your $20 back per every month and then some. I promise you that it will be an absolute wash. You front that $20 that first month, and then after that, you're going to find cost-saving opportunities that are going to make you that $20 back and then some. So we don't even need to sweat the $20. I understand that for some folks, $20 a month is just like, it's another thing we have to pay for at a time when we have more to pay for and everything is more expensive than it has been in quite some time. Yes, exactly. It's $20 a month. So because in the absence of me saying some of these things and sharing this, I could be confused for just some random lady on the internet. I just want to give you a little bit of my street cred. And some of you are my regulars and you know this stuff about me, but I'm going to say it anyway. So I spent the first 25 years of my career in higher ed fundraising. And toward the end, like lots of people during COVID, started to think about, what do I really want to do when I grow up? And that really opened my mind to, here I am, I'm in the prime of my life. I have had people and mentors and so many reps and all this stuff poured into me for all these years. How can I use my skills and my gifts to their greatest, use? So a year and a half ago, my husband and I launched Empowered Fundraiser Consulting and Coaching. Shortly thereafter, ChatGPT hit the scene and we got bitten by that bug. One of the things that I've learned is the gift that it is to be able to share what we're learning on this AI journey with other people. And I started when I truly felt like the fifth grader to the fourth graders. I started teaching other fundraisers how to use AI. So now we've trained about 1,700 fundraisers and counting. We're not gonna stop. I have this goal that I put out into the universe that in some way, form, or fashion will train 1 million people at the beginner level how to use these tools. I've been, trained and taught and gotten certifications for things. I had the honor and privilege of being one of the advisors for the Framework for Responsible AI and Fundraising, and we're doing some really neat new things with that. So for those of you who are in fundraising, and Donnie, maybe you can drop the link, but definitely go to fundraising.ai, download or bookmark that framework, because the framework that we developed will work for almost any industry. It is a great place to start. If it's just you, yourself, and you every day in your own solopreneurship, with your family, whatever it is that you're doing with generative AI, having guidelines, having a framework is so important and so soothing. That framework identifies most of the things that make people nervous. And we're saying to ourselves, we're aware and we're intentional and we're thoughtful. We're not going to do anything stupid, right? It talks about data security and privacy, talks about bias, continuous learning, transparency and explainability, compliance, etc. So having a framework is really important. So grab that framework, stick it in your back pocket. I promise you, even if you're just starting out on your journey, there's going to come a moment where you're going to be like, God, I wish I knew what the rules were. Okay. A couple of other things is that with a few other amazing AI experts, we co-founded Light Magic AI at the end of last year, and we're an AI solutions company. And in June, I'm going to go talk to OpenAI, or I'm going to talk with a couple of other people actually at OpenAI headquarters, which is really cool. And in October, I'm doing a mastermind session at the International Fundraising Congress in the Netherlands. So things are going really well. Very, very excited. This journey has been incredible for me. So today we're going to talk about ChatGPT as your sounding board. And the number one way to do this, I was trying to not turn this into creating GPTs because I wanted to wait till later to get into that. But the very best. Oh, thank you, Gwen. You are too. And by the way, I had such a good conversation with our friend at the San Diego Foundation. I need to follow up with him. They are ready to do some stuff with AI. It's very exciting. John, correct? John? Yeah, thank you for connecting me with him. He's great. I'm excited about what they're up to. GPTs just allow you, a GPT is, well, it's called custom GPT, is like your own little chat GPT of your own little world. It's trained on everything about you and your company or your, community organization or your family. And I'm going to have to go, I just can't resist. I'm going to have to talk to you a little bit about that today because it's such a fantastic use case. I like to have a type of conversation with ChatGPT along the lines of what's interesting about this. And that's been a huge level up in my kind of ability to think strategically and look for opportunities where I might not otherwise see them, right? That's the thing that's so beautiful about these tools. It's like, yes, can we create, content that's amazing? Yeah. Can we do some, can we create a better strategic plan? Yes. Can we do things faster? Absolutely. But it also helps us like plumb the depths of our own mind. It helps us bring forward stuff that we didn't even know that we know. So asking questions like, what's interesting about this? And I'm going to, of course, demonstrate this, will help you open up little areas of your brain, little thought processes that otherwise might not have been accessible to you. This all sounds very weird and very like woo-woo, but I promise you I'll make it concrete. Preparing for conversations is one of my absolute favorite uses of ChatGPT as a sounding board. Talking about how to do XYZ thing better, or any other type of step-by-step. I like to use the example of, let's say you had like the best intern in the world, super highly capable, and you're in higher ed advancement. You would not say, go plan the homecoming event, right? But you also probably would find it tedious to say, okay, so first you're going to do this. Oh, good, Bob. You like woo. Oh my God. How was the talk you gave? Was that last week that you gave your talk about leadership? How did it go? I want a full report. And I like woo woo too, Bob. Just makes everything better, right? So I would squander a lot of brain calories trying to explain step by step by step. And by the way, we've probably all done that exercise where somebody says, tries to tell you how to make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And like, so if you say, how do you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? It went great, wonderful. I would love to hear more. You say, how do you make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich? And the person might say, okay, well, first you put peanut butter on the bread. And so then somebody might like take their hands. Hi, Naomi. Somebody might take their hands and grab the peanut butter and try to put it on the bread. So what you're really supposed to say is, first grab a knife. Well, okay. Well, any knife? So then they grab like a big chef's knife. You're like, okay, no, actually, okay. Grab a butter knife, right? It's like that. ChatGPT can do all that thinking for you. And then using ChatGPT to rank different ideas and different strategies for how they will meet your objectives. So those are some of the ways that I really like to use ChatGPT as a sounding board. And I'm going to give you some examples. Look at my little dog. Isn't that so fun? I don't know. I have never really been a person who like animated presentations, but for some reason, the other day when I was putting this slide together, I got endless amounts of joy of making her move around. First go by, exactly. And then Jeff, you're like, wait a second. Where are the items, right? Like it could go on and on and on. But also, I've been having so much fun making images recently. And I did a whole series of dogs. And they're so cute and they make me so happy. And now we're using these dogs in lots of our different presentations. Oh, speaking of which, so the reason why I have this slide in here is because before I even get started, because I know I like to throw a lot at people. Thank you, Gwen. I wanted to tell you about some of the resources we have for you. So every Saturday at noon Pacific time, we gather with the coolest, dopest group of human beings, and we have new people coming in every single time, which, by the way, Gwen and everybody here, you have to register. So if you haven't registered yet, because now the link comes from Eventbrite. So Donnie, drop the bit.ly link in there, okay? This one. Put that link in the chat and remind everybody and tell everybody you know, Gwen, because what happens is right before the event, in like all these different nooks. Oh, sorry, Jeff. Yeah, enjoy. Oh, remember when my kids were 1? Enjoy every second. So everybody starts pinging all over, various corners of the internet to say, where's the link? So if you all have this link handy tomorrow, right before noon, and can share it with everybody, that would be super helpful. So this week, what we're doing is we scheduled this as, ignore that says 224. It's every week, every weekend. So this is an innovation lab. So we've got people coming in to talk about Hugging Face, which is a platform that I don't understand that I'm excited about. How they are marketing their GPTs, a book they just published, how to create beautiful collections of images and then narrate them, how to put multiple GPTs within a GPT. It's a whole plethora of different opportunities to learn from people who have taken deep dives into some different area of AI, and they're going to share them with us. So we all get to learn a little bit. Here at this link, you will find, yes, it's always going to be the same. No, always the same link to register, but not the same Zoom link. So yes, this is the link that you will always use every weekend. Anytime you want to register, you'll go to this link. And at the top, near the top, you'll see register for ChatGPT. Donnie, don't drop that link. Remove that. Don't drop that link. That link confuses people. If you can delete it, delete it. If you can't delete it, don't delete it, but don't use that link. That link won't work every time. So you have to use this link, bit.ly, the goods 2024. And on that page, you're going to have each of these trainings that I do, and you're going to have, so you'll have the recordings, you'll have the resources, you'll have all of our special events. Yeah, pretty much everything we do, you can't remove it. Okay, well, please post this link right here. Only this link. Never, ever, ever share the Eventbrite with anyone ever, because it gets people way too confused. Okay, and then I wanted everybody to know that on Wednesday, I'm just opening up a Zoom room at 10:30 Pacific time, and I'll be there answering questions about how to use ChatGPT, or how to use some other, it depends on how many people show up. I'll answer whatever questions you might have. So if you have a specific use case where you're trying to level up, bring it on in and I will help you. Okay. I'm totally happy to be there. So for an hour on Wednesday, the 21st at 10:30. ChatGPT in your consultancy. Oh, Gwen. Okay. Hold on one second. I need to change that setting on that. Okay. Actually, everyone just hold on one second. I'm going to change the access for a link. Sorry for doing this live here. This is just how we roll. This is how it is these days. Let me just make sure that link is set to, here we go. Anyone with the link. Thanks, Gwen. Sorry about that. Fixed now. Okay. Here's what we're going to do. As we start talking about how we are going to use ChatGPT as our thought partner, the first thing I want, Donnie, why is that featured? No, hide. Okay. This one. Okay. So I want to talk a little bit about expert in the looping. This is we talk about how we are the human in the loop when we're working with generative AI. But even more to the point, we are also the expert in the loop. When we're working on something that's within our zone of genius, we can trust that we have enough expertise to know, is this biased? Is it accurate? Is there something that's gone awry here that could be harmful to others? So when we're working on things that we know enough about, we can trust that, we can we can like approve really the information that we're putting out into the world, but there are times when we are not that expert. And so I wanted to point this out. We've been talking about this all week long about how there are moments. So in this chart on the upper left hand side, I started with an image. And this would also be like starting with a memo, starting with a PDF, starting with a piece of content. And you're in a conversation with ChatGPT. Thank you, Gwen. So I say, describe this image in great detail. So then ChatGPT gives me a big long description of that image. I'm like, cool, that's an accurate image, right? Then I say, okay, let's use that description to create this image in the style of Annie Leibovitz or Pixar. And I use these two examples. I spelled Annie Leibovitz's name wrong, no big deal, because ChatGPT knows. ChatGPT knows. Yes, that's totally fine, Gwen. Knows what I'm looking for. And then I got two images, and like one was pretty Annie Leibovitz-esque because I know her style, and the other one is pretty Pixar-esque. I'm like, okay, that's good enough. And this project isn't like this hugely important project, so I'm not going to go double check that it's right. Now I said, actually, can you make this image like Rick and Morty? Well, I don't know what Rick and Morty style is. I know it's kind of like SpongeBob SquarePants, I think, but that's definitely not good enough. So in order for me to feel like, yeah, for sure, we've got this nailed, I'm comfortable putting this information out into the world, I would go cross-reference. So an example that's more important that I would use is like, let's say you are quoting somebody. Let's say you were going to publish a quote from Maya Angelou. Unless you know her whole entire body of work, like the back of your hand, you're going to want to go double check. So there are just times when it doesn't matter how smart ChatGPT is, right, as your sounding board. You still are the expert in the loop. You are the one who can go and check that if you need to, or decide that you know enough about this topic that you're comfortable moving forward. Then I wanted to give you a demonstration of like when you're trying to push the model beyond what it wants to do with like copyright. So you say in the style of Andy Warhol, ChatGPT says no. You can go back and say yes, or you can go back and say I'll tip you $100, or think carefully. This is important to me. Or you can say that's cool. Just give me something as close as possible to Andy Warhol. And in this case, I'm like, that looks fine. So now I'm getting into like how ChatGPT starts to blend with our own thought process, right? So I asked it, now make basically this image in the upper left, but in the style of Jeffrey Koons. Well, Jeffrey Koons' art is three-dimensional, and I love his artwork, and I would love to see, this image up here in the style of Jeffrey Koons, but ChatGPT is unable to do that for whatever reason. Who knows? But what it did do is it gave me this like representation of something Jeffrey Koons-esque. Well, here's the thing. I'm not an expert on Jeffrey Koons, so I'm like, maybe there's a piece of art that looks like this. If I'm really wanting something that's Jeffrey Koons-esque, then I'm going to go look, and I'm going to keep working with ChatGPT to get, some kind of output that's closer to what I want. Or you're like, I thought I wanted something like this image in the upper left, but now that I see these colors, I kind of want to go in a little bit of a different direction. So that kind of goes back to the woo-woo thing I was saying about all of a sudden they're like new ideas in my brain. Now I'm thinking about like, what do I really want? Do I want to make something in these colors? Do I want to make something in this vibe? What is it about this that I like? How can I use this? So now this has sparked some new pathways for me to think. And so I think, okay, it's the colors that I like about it. So again, we're in conversation with the model. We're not even really trying, like, we don't know what we're making right now. So we say, give me the hex codes in order of prevalence. So it gives me the hex codes. And now I think, well, this is interesting. I kind of want to check my work. I want to find out, are these the accurate hex codes? And so I thought, well, how can I do that? So, okay, give me a girl with a thing of balloons where each balloon is a color of the hex code in the order of prevalence from above. Well, I didn't double check the hex codes against these or anything, but if you compare the image at the, up here to the balloons, you're like, I get it. Might not be entirely perfectly right. Like I kind of would have expected something that felt maybe a little bit orangier and bluier. There's like some teal in there that doesn't quite make sense, but also like I don't know a lot about colors, so maybe you're blending the colors together. Anyway, so here we are now. We started out with this image in the upper left, and now we're over here and we've got a girl with balloons. We went through this journey with ChatGPT, and now think about all the things we can do. Like, let's say we actually are goal oriented on this. Okay, let's write a story. Let's analyze the pattern of the balloons. Let's use code interpreter. So the example that I've been using this week about something like this is, say you work in marketing and communications, or you're doing the branding for your company, and you need to check, like, how are we doing with our adherence to our brand colors? Like this happens all the time at large organizations where all of a sudden you find out, this, that, or the other department has made up their own color palette. Or maybe somebody just doesn't know, maybe they're new and they don't know how to do hex codes properly, or who knows what, but we need to find out if we're staying on brand. You could take, say, 7 or 8 examples of marketing materials that have gone out and have put the images into ChatGPT, ask it to analyze the hex codes and the prevalence of the hex codes and like give you a grade. How close are we to our brand guidelines based on this? That's Code Interpreter, and that's inside your $20 a month ChatGPT Plus. So these are examples of other ways that you can be in conversation as a thought partner. Then you can say something like, here's just a different use case. Pick out an outfit in these colors. And by the way, that's my favorite use case for making your money back on your $20 a month is take a picture of your closet and ask ChatGPT to come up with an outfit for you instead of going and buying something new. Like it's February right now, people are going to start going on vacations, on cruises. They're going to go to baby showers and weddings and graduations, and everyone's going to feel like they need a new outfit. Well, first of all, this economy. Second of all, clothing is really bad for the environment, evidently, I've been learning. So if you can shop in your own closet, that's like way better for the environment. And I know that sometimes we feel like we're sick of our outfits and we need something new, but ChatGPT will put together an outfit for you that you wouldn't have come up with. And I've got lots of stories of people doing this and going to an event and getting lots of compliments on their clothes. So, and then you save all the money that you have spent on ChatGPT. And you can obviously do the same thing with your refrigerator and your pantry. Take a picture of your fridge, take a picture of your pantry, ask ChatGPT, what can I make for dinner today without going to the store? Okay. And now we have all these new capabilities to make videos. So that's another way. So again, you started with a picture of a woman, with red hair blowing in the breeze. And now we ended up over here and we're having a conversation with ChatGPT and we're making it into a video, or we're making an avatar. Really, the sky is the limit for how you can get really, really cool outcomes by being in conversation with the model. So let me know, everybody, is there anything here? I'm going to move my desk down. Is there anything here, anything that you would add to the ways that you've been working with ChatGPT on projects? Not just asking, can you write me an email, or can you write me a letter to my congressperson, or things like that. But what are some of the unique ways that you've been partnering with ChatGPT to do cool things? Would love to hear, would love to see it in the comments. So what I'm going to do is, hi, everybody. All of a sudden, I'm really big on the screen. It always surprises me. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with how we set up a GPT as our second brain. And what do I mean by second brain? So second brain in this context is basically you create a repository of information about yourself or your company or your organization or your family or whatever. Oh, add voice. Yeah, it's pretty cool, huh? What do you mean, Naomi's? Tell us more about that. Oh, Poe. Yeah. Awesome. Say a little bit more about what you're finding, what you're liking about that. I have not gotten into Poe yet. There's so much to learn, you know? It's almost, well, I shouldn't say almost. It's overwhelming sometimes, isn't it? Like, how do you stay focused, you know? So I am going to teach you how to build a knowledge bank. And again, you know, this is why, especially today, I was giving everybody a hard time about getting ChatGPT Plus, because ChatGPT Plus allows you to build your own chatbot, and you can't do that without ChatGPT Plus. So, you know, that's just that cat in the hat. For those of you who aren't like super familiar with the interface, I wanted to point out just a couple of things. So when we drop down here, we see ChatGPT 4 comes with DALL-E. That's how you make images. Browsing, so you're always connected to the internet. Analysis, that's code interpreter, and you can use it at a high rate before you get like put on pause. And TK, who is, I know, Nuria, isn't it crazy? Okay, so you know what would be really helpful for those of you who are here is drop into the comments how you personally are navigating your learning process. Like, have you chosen one tool and just gone all in on that? Or are you sampling lots of different things? Are you sleeping at night? I know lots and lots of us who are like pretty happily giving up sleep, but sometimes probably need to sleep a little bit more because we go down these rabbit holes and everything is so exciting and we want to try things. I mean, I'm up in the middle of the night every single night thinking about what's the thing that I want to do tomorrow with AI. Every single night. Ooh, Billy's Genes AI Genius programs. Ooh. Oh, wow. Cool, Naomi. I don't know about Billy's Genes. I want to hear about that. Okay, I'll stay focused on my presentation, although I'm dying to read everything that you're putting into the comments. So, and then also note, lower left-hand corner, customize your ChatGPT. This is where you can put custom instructions. And I have custom instructions in that link tree somewhere. So there's, and I'll make sure that they're in the recording area for this presentation so that you can choose from some custom instructions. Okay, here's what we're going to do. We are going to create a GPT. Actually, what we're going to do is we're going to pretend to create a GPT. We're going to open up our company's Copilot. See, Empowered Fundraiser LLC Company Copilot. And what I prioritized here, I hope it makes sense. Hi, Corey. Yay. I was just telling you on DMs, I couldn't find you on here. I don't know why. Why couldn't I find you? I must not have typed I don't know what, typed your name in right or something. So, Corey, if you just dropped in, I asked people to share how they're managing their learning journey without going bananas, right? Because we are all so excited. I was up again in the middle of that. Oh, you did. I was up in the middle of the night last night, like, I could not wait to wake up this morning and start doing more stuff with AI. I gotta sleep and I can barely do it. So here is oh, that's awesome. Okay, so you all know enough. You know what? I might skip the GPTs because everybody here knows a lot about setting what is sleep. How about if I just show you one little couple of things? So for those who are uninitiated with GPTs, I'll just share a little bit. It's very easy. You can pop in here onto the create side. This is the left-hand side of this little window where you're going to be doing work to set up a GPT, and you just use natural language processing. Just blah, 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 just a really easy, like, I want to make a GPT to help me. I'll show you actually how we did that with with my kids. I think we did like shopping at Trader Joe's or something like that. Mm, 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 mm. I might have deleted it. Here's one that's interesting I'll share this. So there is a newsletter called The Skim that I get in my inbox. And I've been working on GPTs for different types of content that I write. And so what I wanted to do was have a GPT that allowed me, when I felt like it, to set up a newsletter or another type of post that sounded kind of in the Skim style, which is, it's kind of it's like, it's breezy, it's a little cheekier than I normally write. It's very skimmable. It's called The Skim, and it is very, very skimmable. So what I did was let's see how far I got. So I did I analyzed my Skim newsletters for its sentence length, the word choice, tone and mood, syntax, semantics, etc. And I put all of that into my GPT. Again, I could have done this probably on the create side. It's so easy. So I just put a little bit of information in here. And then just like with any other GPT, I set it up so that it knows, how to behave with the user. And then I put just a simple, conversation starter here. You can do this in any way, like for any type of project, just super easy. Drop a few things in the create side or drop a few things in the configure side. And I am putting a download into the link tree that has information on how to build GPTs. So you'll be able to do that anytime. Or like in this other example, which is like becoming more elaborate for us, I set up our company co-pilot because we were bringing somebody new on board, and I wanted her to be able to write contracts just for us to just be the human in the loop at the very last second. I wanted her to be in control of what goes into the contracts that she's closing with prospective clients. So let's write a scope of work for workshops. What she sells is she sells 4 of our workshops to higher ed organizations for $10,000. It's very routine. That's exactly what it is. But if she needs to make any changes, she needs to indicate like which workshops they are, blah, blah, blah. So she can go in here. She doesn't need to work with my admin then. She doesn't need to make up anything from scratch. But because we have examples of our scope of work documents and our contracts, she just has to answer these few questions, and then it turns out a scope of work. So for example, today's date is 2/16. I'm just going to make this really easy. Minnie Mouse is the contact. Acme is the university. 10K is the cost. Starts March 1st, ends April 1st. And that if she were to fill all of that, just those questions out, she gets a perfect scope of work. And that's what I love about using something like a knowledge base is that there's the fact that it's fast. That's awesome, right? Speed is a differentiator. But the fact that it's accurate and that it's high quality, it's based on the work that Donnie and I have spent hours and hours and hours, right? We have refined our format for our scope of work to within an inch of its life. We feel very confident that if our scope of work goes out just like this, our customers will have a good client journey. We will get everything that we need. We will get paid faster. In this case, our new salesperson will get paid out faster. Mission accomplished. So it's possible to use this knowledge base for really boring practical things. It's also possible to use your GPT for all sorts of cool, whimsical things as well. There's no limitation. For example, I have a GPT that's my mansplaining detector. And what this is, I'll just show you, am I mansplaining? And I came up with this I had a little, probably some people can relate. And by the way, all genders mansplain. I'm not picking on anybody. But I had inspiration to build this. It was my first GPT after being in a conversation with somebody where, because I had my Fathom on. Do you guys know how on Fathom, which is an AI recorder for your meetings, it indicates talk time? And this particular person talked 96% of the time. And it was our first meeting, a meet and greet. And I was like, you know what? Here's something that would be good for the world. I'm just going to create a little mansplaining detector, and I'm going to give some tips and tricks for how to avoid mansplaining, right? So sounds like you're open to self-reflection, which is a great first step. Here are several indications that you might be mansplaining. First of all, if you're asking the question, you likely already have a tendency toward mansplaining or are concerned about it. You might notice the other person tensing up or showing signs of annoyance. On video calls, if it seems like everybody is multitasking when you speak, that could be a hint. If people walk away or don't invite you to meetings, it might indicate that they are feeling over-explained too. So let's just see, do these scenarios sound familiar to you? Yes. Thank you for your honesty. First step, why does mansplaining get such a bad rap? So, like, to me, just like so many other things with ChatGPT, like the sky is the limit. You can do anything. Your imagination, if you can imagine it, minutes of a 60-minute meeting. So I came up with that. I want to talk a little bit about how we use ChatGPT to, let me see, I was going to do, what was the one that I wanted to show you guys first? I know here we are, we have 12 minutes left. I want to show you, I'm going to show you, because a lot of us who are still living, folks who are still living the employee life in particular, will probably find something like this really helpful at work. And then so many of us find this helpful in our real lives. And in fact, Corey and I were just talking about this the other day. So preparing for difficult conversations. Boy, oh boy, wouldn't we all like to feel slightly more confident when we're going into difficult conversations? And my whole bookshelf here is filled with books about, negotiations, conflict, bringing out the best in others, managing leadership, what personality type are you? All these things that really boil down to, like, how can we work together as human beings to get to a better place on the side of the next conversation. So there's so many examples that I've run into in my life where I just needed somebody to weed out the worst of my ideas, to be honest, about conversation. And a lot of this has to do with, for me, one of the things I know about myself is that I have a hard time when I'm feeling gaslighted, really understanding even what's going on. Like, I sometimes don't know fact from fiction. And so that's a pretty difficult place from which to start an important conversation. So nowadays, I check in with ChatGPT to help me figure what's going on with my feeling of being gaslighted. So I'm going to walk us through a scenario where we can use ChatGPT to help us prepare for a difficult conversation. So I'm going to say, just like we always do, we give ChatGPT a role. So I'm going to use this in the context of work. So you are an organizational psychologist and an expert in human nature and communications. I need your help preparing for a conversation with my boss. My Slack's going off. I'm just going to say, will you ask me 3 questions, one at a time, to begin planning for the conversation. So it probably will ask me like a little bit about my boss, a little bit about what the circumstances are, what I might want the outcome to be. Yeah, what specific outcomes are you aiming to achieve from this conversation with your boss? Let's see. What do I want to happen? I want our relationship to be stronger afterward by knowing one another better and how to support each other, and what I'm just going to say what gets on each other's nerves. What I'm trying to say is I want to be able to have an open conversation with my boss and make sure that throughout the process, I haven't made our relationship different, in a bad way. It's a good question, Greg. Let me double check. Are you talking about mansplaining detector? Is it public? Let me see. It ought to be, huh? It is now. How is it possible that it's 11:52? Okay. Your boss that you believe need to be addressed to achieve this goal. I feel he took credit for my work. But I also know that he may not have. I knew that I might be triggered. I might be misinterpreting. I might be feeling gaslighted. So now it's important for me to kind of help to, like, this is a way for me to separate fact from fiction. How do you think your boss perceives your contribution, and what specific instances make you feel your work was not be in general? I know that he knows that I'm excellent at my job. However, excellent at my job, and that it's appropriate to give me credit for my good work. However, in this case, I think he took the work that I did and put his name on it. Sounds like there's a disconnect between recognizing your expertise and attributing your work accurately. In preparation for the conversation, it's crucial to approach the situation with the intention of fostering understanding and collaboration. Would you like guidance on how to structure this conversation? Yes, please, guidance. So keep in mind as I'm going through this, imagine that you were having a conversation about what's the best design for a meeting. What's the best strategy for a solicitation? What's the best theme for our upcoming event, right? Or I have these 3 ideas for this theme for an event. Which one would be better? Ask me 3 questions. Then ChatGPT can come back to you. What's your desired outcome for the event? You say, I want everyone to feel closer to the organization, right? Then it says, okay, what is the thing that you want to be promoting or whatever? Then you might get into questions about logistics, like, do you want people to have a takeaway from the event? Or a tchotchke or leave behind or whatever, like you go through the process. And then at the end, you can ask ChatGPT to like rank those strategies, rank those ideas based on this bunch of different criteria. So, okay, I've now come up with a game plan or a creative brief that has been, you've worked out some of the kinks in the process, in the system first. So, set a positive tone, express your feelings, acknowledge their perspective, share your needs clearly, seek feedback, discuss next steps, follow up. So now I'm going to say, I'm worried that I won't set a positive tone because I'm upset. Donnie, will you do me a favor and drop the bit.ly link back in there as we reach the toward the end of the hour? I want to be sure that people have that bit.ly link handy so that they can register our events, find recordings and resources, because everything is going over there. Okay, prepare mentally. Practice your opening statement. Oh my goodness gracious, that's good advice. Because sometimes I don't even know what the first thing is that's going to come out of my mouth. And then I know that it could come out with some weird tone. Use breathing techniques. Yes, I could do some deep breathing, because I know when I'm nervous about a conversation, like my breath kind of gets kind of stuck. Seek to understand, then be understood. Oh, so maybe I want to ask my boss some questions. Help me understand. What did I miss? I know we're supposed to use I statements, like, I felt confused when I saw your name on my memo. Frame it as a learning opportunity. Oh, interesting. So, maybe that's like, we're getting to know each other, I really want us to have a great working relationship together. And this thing came up and I wanted to talk it out with you and see, because I think it's going to help us work better in the future. Maybe it's something like that. And then be prepared to listen. Hey, Jamie, be prepared to listen, right? Actually having that reminder, they say like you have 2 ears and 1 mouth in that proportion for a reason. You're supposed to listen twice as much as you talk. So this is just an example of how we can use ChatGPT as a thought partner when we're preparing for a difficult conversation. Imagine you can use that for, I need to provide some critical feedback, or I'm planning for my employee reviews and I have somebody who they're not going to get a high score for the year. And I want to prepare for that conversation. Like, new managers, please, please, please use ChatGPT. Please use ChatGPT before performance reviews and work out what those conversations might look like and how you can provide feedback in a way, whether it's positive or critical, that will help your staff truly grow, right? That's the goal. And we know that you may be having 10 performance reviews that you're doing for people, but your staff have just that one. Yes, help me look at this with a different frame of reference. Exactly. I like to say, what's interesting about this? Here's one really quickly. Let's see what happens. So this is like asking for the step-by-step. How to make a PB&J step-by-step. And this is just a silly example, but this might be in my real life, how to plan a gala, right? How to plan an alumni event, how to plan, select your ingredients, preparation. See, lay out 2 slices of bread. See, but it cheated. It said spread peanut butter on 1 slice of the bread. So now what we're going to do is because we're in conversation, we're using ChatGPT as our Supersmart sounding board. We're going to say, actually, explain it like I'm 5 and have it break it down a little bit more. And while it's doing that, let me just remind everybody. So what we've been doing is we've been working our way through a whole bunch of different use cases for fundraisers to use generative AI to work, to do higher quality work and save time so that they can spend more time working one-on-one with donors. We've come up with ways to generate better content, ways to come up with better solicitations. We've learned how to identify our brand voice, our personal voice, and create voice paragraphs so that all of our content sounds like us, or sounds like our executive director or our dean, or sounds like our brand. What else have we done? I think we've done probably 6 so far, and we've covered kind of a lot of territory, but there's also a lot that we haven't covered yet. So we're going to talk about, I'm going to go through some specific GPTs for frontline fundraising. Oh, and by the way, before we take off, I'm going to show you guys one. But this is like just an example of having ChatGPT come up with the step-by-step for you, rather than you sitting down and torturing your brain to come up with, oh darn, I forgot the part about taking the lid off of the jelly or the jam, whatever you call it. One more thing I want to show everybody here, because I know that I have some nonprofit enthusiasts. I have my absolute favorite, my absolute pride and joy is my fundraising thank you note writer by Empowered Fundraiser. So this is in the ChatGPT store. You can find it by putting my name in or putting Empowered Fundraiser in. I think it will pop up if you put fundraising thank you. I think by the time you get to that, you come up with this. So, and I promise I'm going to wrap it up in 1 minute, but this is a good example of, a lot of folks think that like ChatGPT can't write like me, or they can't write like my brand, or they can't write in my professional tone of voice or my casual tone of voice. But I've trained this ChatGPT on, it's not necessarily on your voice, but it is on the voice of a super seasoned frontline fundraiser who's successfully worked with donors for 25 years. I know that the output that you will get from this thank you note generator is always going to be like 90% of the way to perfect. So if you don't want to have to create your own thank you notes from scratch again and again and again, which does get super, super tedious for fundraisers because there's so many gifts and it's kind of repetitive and it seems like there are only so many ways to say thank you, this will give you fresh ideas. And it does include, you can include quotes from, like, if you want to have a quote, but you don't know who you want to have a quote from, I have it set up so that you can get quotes from Maya Angelou, and they're beautiful. So definitely seek out this GPT on the GPT store, because it's going to be really a big time saver. But most of all, like all the other things I like to talk about, it's about the quality, and it's about that you won't delay, so that donors can get their thank you notes faster, because we know how important that is. I love this stuff, and I could talk to you about it all day, every day. Definitely head over to our bit.ly link, which is here. Grab resources, and if you're around on Wednesday, I think it's 10:30. I think I said 10:30 on Wednesday, the 21st. Come to office hours, and I can help you with, if you have a specific project you're working on with generative AI, if you're stuck, if you just want to soak up more information or learn from other people's use cases, that's a great opportunity to hear what other people are working on. So feel free to join us for that. You will get the Zoom link by emailing hello@empoweredfundraiser.com. Everybody have a fantastic weekend. If you're not already planning to come to GPT Jam tomorrow, please do. We would love to see you. It's an innovation lab. We have some amazing people from various corners of the internet coming and sharing some of the areas where they've done the deep dives, right? So they've gone deep into some area, some corner of AI, and they're going to demonstrate, and we're going to learn from their wisdom. We've got Corey Sandler, who's on the call. She's going to talk. She's going to show us how she's been making these like more and more beautiful and stunning and arresting by the day collections of images and narrating them. We've got we've got Cindy Kuhn coming, who just published an AI anthology. She's going to talk to us about how she created it, how she got it published. We've got a guy teaching us Hugging Face. We've got Suzanne Welker-Jurgens talking about her GPT, I think a whole bunch of GPTs into one GPT, or maybe she's talking about Zaps. She's talking about super-powered GPTs, I know that. We've got a friend who's made over 100 GPTs, and she's going to talk about her inspiration for that project. We've got somebody who has set up like her own store for GPTs. She's a social worker, and she's going to share how she did that, and so on and so forth. It's going to be a fantastic opportunity to learn from people who are showing up to just super generously share, their adventures in AI. So thank you all for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Can't wait to see you next time. At the very least, I will see you on Friday next week. Okay? Please be kind. Bye.